A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. I seek refuge in Allah from the outcast shaitan. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious and most merciful. Salamun alaikum, dear Muslim believers. Many traditional Muslims claim that you cannot have an opinion and reject hadith if you are not a scholar. We are basically expected to blindly follow Mufti, Maulvi, Sheikh, Imam, etc. However, Quran continuously tells us to not follow anyone blindly. The Quran criticizes religious scholars in many verses. I have found some interesting verses regarding this. Keep in mind that these verses can also apply to Islamic scholars. So, in chapter number 9, Surah Tawbah, verse number 34, God says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu inna kasiram minal ahbari warruhbani layakuluna amwalan nasi bil batili wa yusudduna an sabilillah wallazina yaknizuna az-zahaba wal fiddata wa la yunfiqunaha fi sabilillahi fabashirhum bi azabin alim. O you who believe, indeed many of the scholars and the monks consume other people's property by false means and create obstacles in the way of Allah. And those who hoard gold and silver and do not spend it for the cause of Allah, giving them tidings of a painful punishment. In chapter number 5, Surah Ma'idah, verse number 63, God says, Why do the rabbis and religious scholars not forbid them from saying what is sinful and devouring what is unlawful? How wretched is what they have been practicing. In Surah Al-Imran, verse number 69, God says, A faction of the people of the scripture wish they could mislead you, but they do not mislead except themselves, and they perceive it not. O people of the scripture, why do you disbelieve in the verses of Allah while you witness to their truth? O people of the scripture, why do you confuse the truth with falsehood and conceal the truth while you know it? In chapter number 3, Surah Al-Imran, verse number 78, God says, And indeed, there is among a party who altered the scripture with their tongues, so you may think it is from the scripture, but it is not from the scripture, and they say, This is from Allah, but it is not from Allah, and they speak the untruth about Allah while they know. In general, religious leaders twist God's revelation, consume people's wealth, and commit immoral actions in the name of religion. When religion becomes institutionalized, people stray further and further away from the right path, and many people leave religion altogether because of the priestly class's wickedness and hypocrisy. I have yet to find one verse in the Quran that tells us to blindly obey religious scholars. Quran instructs us to use wisdom and not to become blind follower of anyone. It is mentioned in chapter number 25, Surah Furqan, verse number 73, God says, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِمْ لَمْ يَخِرُّوا عَلَيْهَا سُمًّا وَعُمْيَانًا. And those who, when reminded of the verses of their Lord, do not fall upon them deaf and blind. So, Quran instructs us to use wisdom and not to become blind follower of anyone. Christians follow Saint John Paul blindly, and it is mentioned in Surah Tawbah, verse number 31, God says, They have taken their scholars and monks as lords besides Allah, and also the Messiah, the son of Mary, and they were not commanded except to worship one God. There is no deity except Him. Exalted is He above whatever they associate with Him. So if you are following any scholar blindly, then it is such that you have accepted him as your Lord, as your God. So Quran instructs us to use wisdom and not to become blind follower of anyone. So free your mind, because you will be held accountable for your actions and belief. Remember, Satan himself will not come to teach us wrong deen or mislead us, nor will he come as the father of the church, or will he come as a priest from the temple to mislead us Muslims. The devil will become an alim, Maulvi, Mufti, cleric and come to mislead us. So free your mind, you will be held accountable for your actions and belief. Never follow anybody blindly and especially not so-called scholars. Inshallah, we'll see you next time. Assalamu alaikum.